Saturday in Arizona dawned dry and still. A blanket of calm draped over every rooftop in the carefully manicured suburb where Tyler Mason lived. He stood in the doorway of his modest home, sipping from a chipped firefighter mug that had seen better mornings. The exhaustion that slumped his shoulders wasn't from work was on leave but from new fatherhood. Inside, his wife, Carrie, dozed lightly, her body still mending from the whirlwind that was childbirth less than 2 weeks earlier. Their son, Jacob, 13 days old, slept peacefully in a crib positioned by the front window, bathed in the gentle morning light. The house carried that unique aroma of baby lotion and freshly installed lumber. 2 months earlier, they had moved into this HOA-controlled slice of suburbia just outside Phoenix. At first, Tyler had been too focused on building Jacob's nursery and learning how to swaddle to think much of the HOA. That changed quickly. From their first week, a man started showing up like clockwork. Mike Wendeley, mid-50s, pressed khakis, fake badge, clipboard, and a disturbingly rigid grin. He called himself the community officer and knocked on doors with the self-importance of a federal agent. First, he complained about what scraps Tyler had left in the yard. Then it was the tint of their blinds. The third time it was the trash bins. Tyler had smiled politely, apologized, and gone back to sanding Jacob's crib. But with each visit, the intrusions felt more like warnings. That morning, Tyler had stepped outside to grab baby wipes from his car, leaving his toolbox by the porch for a shelving project. Then came a shout. "Hey, there at your window." Frank, the elderly neighbor across the street, his voice sharp with alarm. Tyler turned and saw something that didn't compute. Mike Wendeley, flanked by 2 HOA volunteers in matching polos. One, tall and sunburned, stood with a brick raised like a pitcher mid-windup. Mike pointed. "No!" Tyler screamed. His legs moved before his mind could process. The brick launched. Time slowed. The brick arced through the air, spinning once before smashing through the nursery window. Glass exploded in a violent shatter. For a moment, silence. Then a cry, not just any cry, but one that split Tyler open from the inside out. Shrill, piercing, raw. "Jacob." Tyler burst into the house, nearly tearing the door off its hinges. Carrie was already there, kneeling beside the crib, her hair dripping from the shower. Her face was drained of all color. Jacob screamed, a tiny cut stretching across his forehead, red against impossibly pale skin. The brick lay in the center of the nursery rug like a smoking gun. Tyler turned to the window. Outside, Mike Wendeley walked away, clipboard tucked under his arm as if nothing had happened. Then came Wendeley's voice, sharp and self-satisfied. "We warned you. Your front paint doesn't match the approved shade." Neighbors began emerging from their homes, drawn by the scream and now the distant wail of sirens. Someone was filming. Someone else called 911. Tyler stood frozen as Carrie cradled Jacob, whispering through her sobs, unaware of the blood on her fingers. Finally, Tyler snapped out of it. He ran to the porch camera, downloaded the footage onto a flash drive, and prepared for war. EMTs arrived in minutes. Jacob was stabilized, wrapped in sterile cloth, and rushed to the hospital. Tyler followed, numb. When Carrie emerged, clutching a piece of Jacob's blood-stained blanket, she looked hollowed out. Mike Wendeley was already gone, his HOA-marked SUV disappearing without so much as a backward glance. The following days blurred into hospital rooms, police reports, and unanswered questions. Jacob lay in a pediatric ICU crib, hooked to monitors. Tyler and Carrie never left his side. When a police officer finally arrived at the house, Tyler handed him the footage. The officer watched the clip and sighed. "Sir, HOA officers aren't law enforcement. We need a formal complaint and civil process. We can't arrest him yet. He assaulted my son." "I hear you," the officer said, eyes tired. "But the court system has to move this forward." Tyler quit his job the next morning. He transformed their guest room into a legal war room. Sticky notes, HOA bylaws, legal consultations. Most lawyers asked for money he didn't have. But one Elena Harris, a civil rights attorney, listened and said, "We have a case." As Tyler dug deeper, neighbors began to open up. A retired teacher threatened with a lien over flower pot colors. A teenager told to remove a bike from the lawn. A mother forced to repaint her garage over a shade of beige. Tyler had something more powerful than stories. He had video. 3 weeks later, the story broke. Phoenix father accuses HOA of assault on infant. Local at first, then national. Tyler's porch camera footage went viral, Wendley pointing, the brick thrown, the shatter, the cry. Outrage exploded. Civil rights groups, parenting blogs, news anchors, everyone had something to say. The HOA issued a cold, one-paragraph statement suspending Wendley. No apology. Tyler retained not one but 3 attorneys. They filed civil and criminal complaints. Then Tyler gave a single interview. He held up Jacob's picture and said he was 13 days old when someone decided paint color was more important than safety. A fundraiser exceeded its goal in 2 days. A mural appeared downtown, a father shielding a child from a brick made of HOA letters. The county DA pressed criminal charges. In court, Wendley tried to claim ignorance. "I didn't know a baby was inside," he muttered. The prosecution paused the footage. "You nodded." He threw. "The baby cried." Emily Rhodes, a teenage neighbor, testified with her own phone video. It captured Wendley saying, "If they don't move those boxes, I'll smash that window myself." The courtroom fell into stunned silence. Judge Ramirez denied bail. The trial lasted 6 weeks. Tyler remained stoic. The media dubbed him the quiet father who roared. On sentencing day, the courtroom overflowed. Carrie cradled Jacob, now healing. Judge Ramirez delivered the verdict: 5 years in prison for Wendley, no parole before 3. The HOA was ordered to pay $2.7 million. Outside, the crowd applauded. It wasn't joy. It was justice. Tyler closed his eyes and held Jacob's blanket. Nothing could undo the past, but now the world knew it mattered. Appeals were denied. HOA boards across the country quietly rewrote policies. Civil suits poured in. A documentary aired, "When Neighbors Become Enforcers." The final shot? Tyler on the porch, Jacob on his lap, sunset behind them. "I didn't do this for money," Tyler said. "I did it so no other father has to watch his child bleed because of a paint swatch." And in that moment, across screens and neighborhoods and hearts, the world understood. Truth matters. Silence is never an option. And justice, when it comes, should never whisper. It should roar.